is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Florida.
Sunday, cloudy Sunday. White Sox, Marlins, Marlins Park. This finishes a homestand and finishes a three-game set, and it's the White Sox who are winners last night. Come from behind for Chris Sale's ball club, and he gets the ball this afternoon, and the Marlins looking for a win. Their best pitcher of late has been Tom Koehler. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Eduardo Perez. It was an excruciating loss last night for the Marlins. But as an extra punch in the gut, actually a couple of punches in the gut after the Marlins have lost Giancarlo Stanton to the disabled list and Adam Conley. Let's start with Stanton.
This is a big one, and the way he's been swinging the bat, this is a bat the Marlins will miss. Trying to stretch a single into a double, ends up straining that that groin, and now you're looking at maybe a couple weeks at most, but this is Giancarlo Stanton when he's swinging well.
Adam Conley, finger tendonitis. He irritated that in celebrating at Wrigley Field on a home run. He hit the roof of the dugout. So those two on the disabled list. Robert Andino, former Marlin, now a Marlin again, is up. He can play outfield and infield. And Hunter Cervenka just to plug a hole in the bullpen. That's a lot to digest. I think the bottom line for the Marlins is they need to start winning ball games, as they've dropped a bit in the wild card run. To do that, they're going to have to beat Chris Sale. They haven't seen him except on the highlights and in the All-Star game and across all the media. He's really good.
He is, and he establishes both sides of the plate with authority, comes after you, and it's not the power pitcher we've seen in the past from Chris Sale, not the high 90s stuff, but still in the 90s, aggressive in the zone, and when he needs you to chase, he does. And those numbers right there, my friend, they do not lie.
I'll tell you what, though, if you were to pick, if you were the Marlins and you're saying, okay, it's a postseason scenario, who's your 1 and 2? I think Tom Koehler's your number 2 right now, and he's pitching like a number 1.
Numbers, again, don't lie. The 1.74 ERA in the second half, he's been more aggressive, and a lot has to do, when people say you pitch off your fastball, well, he needs his curveball to be really good in the zone early, so then he can get guys to chase out of the zone.
Tom Koehler in a crucial ball game this afternoon against Chris Sale and the White Sox. Latest on Giancarlo Stanton. When we return, we'll hear from Don Mattingly next. is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. On a Sunday in Miami, Tom Koehler has finished his warm-up tosses, and we head out to center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Thank you, Rich, and good afternoon again, everybody. The Marlins getting this news that Giancarlo Stanton, we saw how the game ended last night. Today, the news is goes on the disabled list, Jeff.
Well, he's going to get an MRI today to check out the extent of the damage to that left groin issue that he had last night. We saw him go down and go down hard. Hopefully it's a grade 1. There are different grades of these strains. If it's more than a grade 1, we might be looking at more than 2 weeks.
We'll hear about that later. Right now from Don Mattingly on the injury.
Well, when I seen it, it looked like he got shot. You know, honestly, it's what you see with guys with hamstrings and stuff like that. They're running, all of a sudden you just see the leg just give out. So obviously not a very good sign when you see that.
Don Mattingly says, no woe is me, though. He understands they've got to find another way to win like they did earlier in the year when Giancarlo was not hitting very well. But there's some other missing pieces, too, and they're big ones.
They're going to have to figure it out because you got 2/5 of your starting rotation now on the DL. You've got your star right fielder, your starting first baseman, and your closer. So these guys are going to have to figure it out and find a way to win baseball games.
And that can happen, and sometimes there is a part that pulls together, and the Marlins need that, and they need to do it today right here before they go out on the road against tough Chris Sale.
Well, yeah, tough Chris Sale. They've got a challenge ahead of them today, but he has not been playing or throwing that well as of late. 5-5 with a 4.5, so hopefully he can get him today.
What Don Mattingly says, we'll see more each year. And that's a good thing, though, for the Marlins, because he has had an outstanding season. He will lead off for the Marlins. Dee Gordon will get a rest here against the lefty today. So the White Sox are going for the sweep. Marlins trying to prevent that. You'll see it next here on Fox Sports Florida.
Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide, and by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Tom Koehler ready to go as the Marlins and the White Sox finish off a 3-game series. And the Marlins banged up and smarting from last night's loss by a score of 8-7. And this is the lineup that Koehler has to face for the White Sox, brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Focusing on Adam Eaton at the top of the order, have to keep him off base. Tyler Saladino showing power. Jose Abreu in the 4th spot. He'll be following Melky Cabrera, which is in the 3rd spot. But Tim Anderson highlighted there. 7-game hitting streak, hitting .333, 9 for 27, 2 doubles. 2 RBIs, 5 runs, will be followed by Omar Narvaez and Chris Sale, which will be on the mound, will be hitting 9th.
Tom Koehler makes start number 24. You see his last 5 home starts. His last 4 starts overall, his ERA is under a run. The walks have been minimal. The command of both the fastball and his 2 breaking balls have been outstanding, and he's mixed that changeup in as well. Adam Eaton's in the box, Tyler Saladino and Melky Cabrera. And for the White Sox, this guy has been in the middle of everything. Last night he walked 3 times, scored twice. He had 4 hits on Friday night. And the speedy outfielder also got to that ball and threw it to second on the Stanton injury last night. That finished the ball game. So it's Eaton, Saladino, Cabrera, Marlins and White Sox. With the Marlins 4 games over at 60 and 56. First pitch swing, Eaton to right field. It's deep, it's down the line, and it's gone. 1 pitch, and the White Sox have the lead.
Well,
10th of the season for Eaton.
Talked about being locked in, setting the tone. Adam Eaton has done that. 1 pitch, just ambushing. Pitch supposed to be on the outside corner. Stays right down the middle, up in the zone, and Adam knew it as soon as he hit it.
Now Saladino. He goes after a first pitch fastball and fouls it back. That's kind of been the mark for the White Sox in both these ball games. They had 2 runs in the first on Friday. They had a run last night in the first.
And all of them scored by Eaton.
Saladino pops it up. And from Saladino to Andino. Robert makes the catch. Miami's defense in this ball game. It's brought to you by Southwest. Starting left with Christian Yelich. Marcell Ozuna is in center, and Ichiro gets a start in right. Of course, Stanton on the disabled list. Chris Johnson, Martin Prado at the corners, Echeverria, and Robert Andino, his first major league game since 2013. Jeff Mathis is behind the plate. And here is Melky Cabrera. For Andino, this has to be especially sweet. A Miami native, got to the big leagues with the Fish, got time with other teams, and in 2015 was essentially out of baseball, did play winter ball, had a really nice spring this year for the Marlins, and was having a solid year in New Orleans.
Well, one thing you can say about Robert, he's been consistent on defense, and that it's hard to find guys that can play both positions, middle infield, also play third base, and embrace the opportunity to play the outfield.
Cabrera rips it in the gap into right center. Venturing there is Ozuna. Cabrera to second, and he'll hold there with a 1-out double. And right now the White Sox have done some damage against Tom Koehler. A homer and a double in the first 3 hitters. Koehler gets Abreu and then Todd Frazier.
And you look at location, everything staying down the middle. That's not one thing that Mathis wants. He wants to be able to get Koehler to hit his spots, especially early on. If you're going to get pitchers that are on fuego, you have to do it early in the game, and that's exactly what the Chicago White Sox are doing right now.
Now Abreu, 3 hits in the series, RBI double last night. The muscle of the White Sox lineup here now with Abreu and Frazier, 31 homers on deck. Koehler gets a strike. So the Marlins lineup with certainly a different look, and the Fish in resting Derek Dietrich. Of course, you got a lefty, D. Gordon, also not in the lineup. Oh, in the dirt, Mathis, good job to knock it down and then chase it down. And the count's 1 ball and 1 strike.
One play where Robin Ventura would have loved Melky Cabrera to be more aggressive on the base pass, take a better secondary lead and get to third base. Force the Marlins infield to play in, especially with Chris Sale on the mound being stingy as of late, allowing runs. Don Manning would have been forced to bring the infield in against Abreu.
One and two. This is a White Sox team that is playing, I don't want to say desperate baseball, but with an extreme amount of urgency, because they find themselves now 4 under the 500 mark.
Love the word you used, urgency. That's how they have to play. And that's how the Marlins also have to play now. They're in the middle of a battle and they cannot sit back and see other teams struggle. They have to be aggressive.
There's your American League Central. You see the White Sox 11 back.
Yeah, they're not going to catch Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Indians have been playing great baseball and they dominated against the Detroit Tigers. Tigers have only won 1 game so far this season against the Indians.
Two. And Abreu gets jammed. The White Sox are hoping they get Brett Lawrie back. He's been on the disabled list with a strained hamstring, retroactive back to the 27th of July. And if you remember at the start of the year, or in the offseason, the White Sox traded to get both Todd Frazier and Lawrie and sent 5 of their top prospects to get those 2 guys. Line drive, base hit, right center, and that's going to chase home Cabrera. And once again, the White Sox have ambushed the Marlins in the first inning to the tune of 2 runs here.
That man that just hit that baseball is a beast when it comes to runners in scoring position. Look where that pitch was, down and away. A lot of hitters that aren't RBI guys will try to pull a pitch like that. Not Jose Abreu. Understands what he has to do with runners in scoring position going the other way. Tom Kohler frustrated early on in this game.
So now it's Frazier, a double and 3 hits on Friday and Saturday.
About controlling the tempo and the pace of the game. The Chicago White Sox offense has been able to do that to the Marlins. Marlins have not been able to be aggressive on the base pass, has to play station to station because they're playing from behind this entire series.
Kohler and Mathis have been together during this nice run by Tom. Frazier fights it off and it's 1 and 2.
See the difference right there between Abreu and Frazier? Obviously different swings. Big man right here has been a presence in the home run derby the last 2 seasons, winning it last year in Cincinnati. But that's the same pitch that Abreu hit to right center field. Frazier wants to try to pull that baseball, hit it out front. 2 different approaches. Hence why he's been struggling when runners are in scoring position. This time Abreu not in scoring position.
Rolls over on that. Prado got one. Andino's turn is close, but not in time. Frazier safely to first. Good pivot by Robert Andino.
Really good footwork. Watch his left foot on the bag, takes it out. As soon as he makes the play, gets out of Abreu's slide, and Frazier beats it out at first base. call by Hunter Wendelstedt.
J.B. Shuck now for the White Sox. Marlins last night were able to overcome the early start by the White Sox. Miami was down 3-0 last night, held the lead twice, and both times they were unable to keep the White Sox from coming back, and ultimately on that wild pitch in the 8th inning, the White Sox won the game 8-7. Runner goes. Huge jump. I mean, huge. And that's not Adam Eaton stealing that bag. That's Todd Frazier.
Yeah. That's Todd Frazier studying exactly what Tom Kohler has been doing and getting himself again into scoring position. He's just a walking lead completely all the way through second base. And this is what the White Sox have done in this series. They've played more aggressive baseball, not afraid to make mistakes on the base paths. Smart base running.
Shuck, a little dribbler. Mathis has it on the line. Nicely done, and he gets the out. Ball was rolling foul. Mathis got it before it did, but the White Sox make a statement in the first inning. Ready to go. Leading off, Giancarlo Stanton placed on the disabled list with a groin injury. So a lot of pressure on this Marlins lineup to create some runs. UHealth Sports Medicine brings you the batting order.
And you have to focus on Jeff Mathis all the way down in the order in the 7th spot. Last 12 games, man, with that leg kick, he's really turned it on this season. 240 for an average, but 361 in the last 12 games. Part-time playing, it's hard and difficult to keep that average up. He's done a nice job. Ichiro, you said it, leading it off, get your bobbleheads ready. He's going to have to be a go factor for the rest of the lineup to be productive.
Chris Sale, fastball and a strike. And for the Marlins, as I noted, this is a guy that everybody knows about, but the fish have not seen. It's one of the beauties of interleague play, getting a chance to see a guy like Sale, who's been to 5 consecutive All-Star games representing the White Sox. And boy, does he work quickly. That's one of the similarities, along with release and body type, of Adam Conley. 2-1 pitch. Ichiro smacks it foul.
Chris Sale first came into the league. He came in as a closer. That's where the need, that's where he was needed. And he was just lights out dominant, high 90s. As a starter, he was in the, again, 96, 97, but he's learned how to pitch at the 93, 94 mark, pitching quickly, aggressively, both sides of the plate.
Ichiro 14 at bats, 4 hits against Sale. And a swing and a miss at 94 on a fastball. Down goes Ichiro. An out here in the first. Defensively, the A-team is out on the field for Robin Ventura. Southwest Airlines introduces Melky Cabrera, J.B. Shuck, and Adam Eaton in right, with Frazier and Abreu on the corners, Anderson and Saladino. That's been the infield throughout the series. And Omar Narvaez behind the plate. Ventura hidden there. As Eduardo has pointed out, he's been creative and aggressive in this series, and it's paid off. Sale misses away. Now Martin Prado against lefties. If you follow the Marlins, you know that Prado has had a dominant year to the tune of .434 against left-handed pitching, and he whacks that one back to the screen. But this is almost as good as it gets as far as lefties and starters. Marlins certainly saw Clayton Kershaw earlier in the season. Today they get Sale. And I think the one number that is impressive about Sale is the drop in velocity with his fastball from last year. Breaking ball, little flare, and it's caught there by Saladino.
Really nice jump by Saladino. Second base, the more you see him, the more you have to like the way he's not only plays defense, but swinging the bat. Right here, going back, knowing he's the only one that can make that play. J.B. Shuck nowhere near this. Jumps at the right time.
Here is Christian Yelich. 2 miles an hour less than last year. And it's a concerted effort by Don Cooper and Sale to be a little more efficient. Yelich pulls it. That's a fair ball. Abreu got it. Sale to the bag. And a nifty play by Jose Abreu. Marlins down in order.
Marlins Baseball es presentado en español vía SAP por West Kendall Toyota.
In Miami, the White Sox a quick start. Marlins trying to avoid getting swept here in this 3-game series. Tom Kohler back on the mound against the White Sox team that suddenly has won 4 of 7. The Marlins, on the other hand, have dropped 8 of their last 11. From 9 over, the Fish now sit 4 over at 60 and 56. Tim Anderson, Omar Narvaez, and then the pitcher Chris Sale against Kohler. And a breaking ball is hit high into center. Ozuna surrounds it. and makes the catch. The Marlins have a digital flex pass, which features 20 digital tickets. This is right up your alley, Eduardo, with all the technology you've got. Just $199. It's $10 a game. You pick the games you want to attend. The flex pass not only is digital, but it's the perfect way to follow the fish.
I'm gonna look into that.
Go to marlins.com.
September, down the stretch. I'll have a few days that I can come in, bring my family.
The question for me, and Narvaez takes out, is if Eduardo Perez were to buy the digital flex pass, would he be able to display his game ticket on his watch?
No. I looked into that. Not yet.
Really?
Not yet. But on my iPhone, yes.
And your tablet?
I'm not bringing the tablet.
It's the modern day newspaper, that sports page that people used to bring to a ball game.
Well, that sits at the coffee table.
Narvaez shoots it foul and into the seats.
First time around the lineup, not yet through, but already the first 6 hitters for the White Sox have been aggressive, especially on the first pitch. 4 out of the first 6 have swung. The one that didn't was Abreu. That's because he threw him a curveball. He was looking fastball.
There's the breaking ball outside. So if you're Kohler, how do you adjust to that, even though you're not through the lineup one time?
Mix them in, but the fastball, you can locate it well down in the zone. You can still get a lot of outs and be economical. Just because they're sitting on it doesn't mean they're going to square it up every time.
There's a good breaking ball and a strikeout of Narvaez. First punch out for Tom Kohler.
What happens? Said it earlier. You're able to throw the off-speed pitch for strikes early. This is what you're going to get. You're going to induce the hitter to swing the bat, to cheat, try to cheat a little bit. Narvaez was getting on base in the first game of the series 4 times. This time, got him out.
Sale with the bat in his hands. 1 for 2 this year. And of course, Sale is a local guy. He's from Lakeland and a proud member of the baseball team at Florida Gulf Coast. First round pick, 13th overall in 2010. Lays off a curveball. Count 2-2. Marlins head to Cincinnati for 4 and to Pittsburgh for 3, and the Pirates still in that wild card race. Prado, nifty backhand, and Kohler goes 1-2-3 in the second. 2-0 White Sox. Later today, next edition of Inside the Marlins debuts. Justin Blaylock dives into the battle of pitchers and catchers against hitters. Exclusive interviews with legends like Charles Johnson, Kevin Brown, Al Leiter. The new show debuts today after Marlins Live postgame on Fox Sports Florida. Look at Al Leiter, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Koehler, after giving up a couple runs in the first, goes 1-2-3 in the second as he's matched up with Chris Sale and the White Sox. Marcell Ozuna, Chris Johnson, and Robert Andino now to face Sale. Auto Nation brings you the scouting report.
Well, emphasis on the side of the sizable future. 6th or better last 4 American League Cy Young votes. He has been money and then raised on the citrus. What does that mean? Well, born in Lakeland, Florida. College, went to Florida Gulf Coast, you said it, Fort Myers. 5 of 7. That's right, 5-time All-Star in 7 Major League seasons. This guy has been as consistent as can be for the Chicago White Sox.
Marcell Ozuna, and then Chris Johnson, Robert Andino to follow. In the absence of Stanton, who's on the disabled list now, the importance of Ozuna rises, and the fact that he's mired in a 2-for-33 skid means Ozuna and the Marlins need a way to figure themselves out of it. And a drive to left center field. How about that? On cue, off the wall. Ozuna with a left turn, headed for second. An absolute rocket. And Marcell's got himself a double. Good to see. You know, he hasn't struck out in this series, even though he's 0 for this series.
You have to like this. Pitch up in the zone. Sale leaving it right there, short through the strike zone. Makes contact, staying tall. 1 pitch selection, perfect for Marcell Ozuna. 2, Don Mattingly has to be happy with that, especially after losing Giancarlo Stanton to the disabled list. This is going to be your cleanup hitter. Hit .307 before the All-Star break with 17 home runs since 194 with 2 home runs.
Now Johnson against Sale. Johnson, one of the few Marlins that actually has some at-bats against Sale. 2 for 6 with 4 strikeouts. You know, oddly, the other guy that has experience is a guy that hasn't been in the big leagues since 2013. That's Robert Andino. Andino on deck. He's 2 for 5 against the ace of the White Sox.
That's when he was throwing a little bit harder too. Chris Sale not throwing as hard as in the past.
Oh, 2 breaking ball into left field. It sneaks under the glove of Frazier. And the Marlins have runners at the corners. And here comes Andino.
That was a mistake by Chris Sale. He wants this pitch in the dirt when you're ahead in the count like that. Instead, Chris Johnson doing a nice piece of hitting, barreling it, taking advantage of the mistake that Chris Sale made. Now you have runners at the corner with Robert Andino at the plate.
And here is Andino. This has to be a sweet moment. His first at bat in the big league since 2013. Not an easy road back, but he's made it. And he's done it on the field. He had the great spring. He's had a solid year. New Orleans, 108 games, 267, 319, 427, his slash line. 24 doubles and 13 homers. He drove in 46 runs. Fouls that pitch back, and it's 1-1.
Give a lot of credit to Robert Andino, persevering. Lives just north of Miami now in West Palm Beach. Had to go down to Puerto Rico last season and the year before. Play winter ball, getting more exposure, more game time, getting his timing down. being able to get back to the show.
Sale gets a strike. It's a big at bat as the Marlins with an opportunity against a guy like Sale to get a couple of these runs back. One, two. Good live fastball at 94. Played independent ball last year. The Atlantic League, 123 games. And then, as Eduardo pointed out, winter ball.
It was an integral part of helping the Santurce Cangrejeros, also known as the Santurce Crabbers in English, winning a championship 2 straight seasons. One of them, I had the honor of managing him for the first championship, so he knows what it takes to win.
And a swing and a miss at a breaking ball, and Sale gets a big strikeout.
That's the pitch that he wanted to throw. Chris Johnson missed with location, was able to execute against Robert.
So here is Mathis, and when Eduardo did the lineup, you saw the run that he's been on. His average up to 240.
Been a lot more aggressive too.
Mathis pushing a bunt, a little safety squeeze there. Both runners, as soon as there was contact, were on the move. Ozuna waiting for contact at third, and same with Johnson at first.
Ozuna has to be a little careful on this. I thought he left just a tad early. Ball's in the air, and Abreu catches that. You're looking at a double play. Last 6 games, again, 4-12, 7 for his last 17.
Mathis had that big home run against John Lackey on that Wednesday at Wrigley Field, which put the Marlins in a position to win. That was a Tom Kohler start. Kohler pitched terrifically in that start. And of course, the Marlins bullpen melted down at the end, and Miami lost that ball game. Johnson at first, Ozuna at third. And Mathis fouls it back, and now Sale quickly shifts into strikeout mode.
You go with the Tom terrific. Is that what you're thinking, Seaver?
That slipped out, but I had to add. I had to go adverb on that. Good ratio for Sale. Mathis pops it foul and back out of play. The discussion that the Marlins had with Jose Fernandez about trying to dial things back and be a little more efficient was the same conversation the White Sox had with Sale in the offseason. Jose skipped in this turn in the rotation, or else he'd be facing Sale today. 1-2. And he got him. And that's Chris Sale at his best. A double, a single, and then 2 punch-outs.
This is the ability that Chris Sale has that a lot of pitchers in the league don't. The ability to go to the swing and miss pitch, the strikeout. Able to execute pitches, locate pitches really well. Not a lot of pitchers, only the elite. We focused on one with the Marlins, Jose Fernandez. Chris Sale has been consistent through 7 years.
Strike to Echeverria. And obviously with Sale, and we touched upon this, and it's maybe to a lesser extent with Conley. the perceived velocity of a 94 mile an hour out of the hand of Chris Sale. Soft serve, center field, and it's caught there. Saladino runs it down, and that saves a run for the White Sox. Frustrating inning for the Fish. A double and a single to start, but nothing to show. T-Mobile brings you greater coverage of baseball. Jonathan Papelbon released by the Nationals. Interested to see if he lands somewhere. Randall Grichuk having an off year, but a grand slam on your birthday makes you feel a lot better. And the Cardinals came back and beat the Cubs. And guess what? That hit streak is still alive. Francisco Mejia, remember we reported he was 0 for 4 last night. Well, early in that game, there was a ball down the third base line that was ruled an error. This is it. Got by the third baseman on a backhand, and after the ball game, it was changed to a double.
I just do not understand how you give this an error. First of all, Francisco Mejia is playing at home. It's a home scorekeeper. You know you have a 49-game hit streak going. Give him the hit right away, even if it's borderline.
How much sweating did that guy do from the middle of the game until the end of the game?
Sweating. I'm telling you right now, somebody made a call from way upstairs and said change it because it's the right call.
So congratulations, his hit streak at 50. I find it interesting that in that span he also has a hit in the Futures game and the Midwest League All-Star game, which don't count in the streak, but even those games he has a hit.
I'll put him in there also.
Adam Eaton opened this ball game on the first pitch by blasting it up off the big Miccosukee support down the right field line. Johnson over towards the line, and the Marlins get eaten out, and that's not been easy in this series.
Tide's turning.
Here now is Tyler Saladino. If you're just tuning in, a lot has happened in less than 24 hours. The White Sox a comeback win last night. And after the ball game, the Marlins found out that 2 of their biggest pieces were injured, and this morning placed both of them on the disabled list. Giancarlo Stanton, who injured his groin going into second in the final out when he caught his spikes and went down. He's on the 15-day disabled list. And we noticed last night a drop in velocity with Adam Conley, and that was due to tendonitis in a finger on his left hand. Johnson is there to snare it. And there are 2 outs. And with Conley, the odd part of that is how he irritated the finger. We told you when the Marlins were in Wrigley how treacherous the dugouts are, the roof very low, and for a tall guy like that, he thrust his hands up in celebration of a Marlins home run during his start, and he hit the roof of the dugout, irritated the finger, and then pitched through it. But yesterday obviously was affected, so 15-day disable list for both.
It's amazing. Freak injuries like that. I mean, in Wrigley Field, it's a really low roof, a ceiling that you have there, and you see a lot of guys hit the top of their head. And boy, does that hurt, because you're thinking about the little button that's right at the top of the hat, and it sinks into your skull, and it is painful every time you get up to try to see over the railing.
Melky Cabrera shoots one to left, and a base hit. 2 outs. Here comes Jose Abreu. And I guess the bigger point is this: the Marlins are in the wild card race. They're a half game behind the Cardinals for that #2 spot. But you look at the particulars in that race: the Cardinals, the Marlins. If you want to back up and go to the Pittsburgh Pirates, if you want to go back a little further to the Mets, everybody there has injury issues. The Cardinals especially. They've lost a couple of frontline starters in Diaz and Holiday. The Mets have been a mess injury-wise, from rotation to position players. Abreu fouls up. The Pirates have been affected by injuries. And so here's the banged-up bunch for the Marlins. Wei-Yin Chen,
doubtful.
If all goes well, maybe mid-September. Conley, the Marlins hope, is able to take the ball in 2 weeks. Stanton, you just won't know for a few days. And of course, Justin Bour, that ankle injury during his rehab irritated his quad, Achilles, and the Marlins are hopeful that with a little more rehab, he's able to get out and get back in uniform. Abreu, an RBI single in the first. Cabrera dives back in.
Everybody's so focused on the St. Louis Cardinals, and for some reason the Pittsburgh Pirates, every year, second half of the season, they find a way to get back in. I don't know if it's already psychological or what, but the last 3 seasons, they are close to being the best team in baseball when it comes to playing fundamental baseball. And Andrew McCutchen lights the fear of God to a lot of teams in the second half. Marlins will get a taste of the Pirates come next weekend.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Pittsburgh. I think for me, one of the factors is the culture of winning that Clint Hurdle has been able to foster, cultivate, instill, pick your word. But Hurdle, the front office, and obviously the players were able to take one of the longest losing streaks in professional sports and not only stop it, but continue to win from that point on.
They've changed the culture there. Now it's a point of how can we, or better, you know, speaking of the Pirates, they're thinking how can we now take it to the next level and compete with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs on a yearly basis and try to win that division, because they've gotten to the wild card the last 3 seasons. And you won 90, what did they win last year? 98, 99 games, and you get 1 game to go for it. And they end up losing last season to the Chicago Cubs in that wild card game.
Runner goes on a 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Mathis drops the ball, picks it up, and tags him. So Tom Kohler holding tight. It's 2-0 White Sox. 3. Rich Waltz, Eduardo Perez, Craig Minervini. Ichiro is due up second. The Marlins have Tom Kohler, Ichiro, and Martin Prado. Up against Chris Sale. You know, the numbers can work sometimes however way you want to manipulate them. If you go back over Sale's last 5 starts, you show that he's given up some runs. The problem with that is 5 starts ago he gave up 8 runs against Atlanta. From that point on, though, his last 4 starts, even though he's 0-2 decision-wise, his ERA is 2.17. Kohler fouls it back. It's 1-2.
Well, his last start, he had the lead going into the 9th inning. They bring in Robertson, and he gives up 3, and they end up getting the loss. He's been money. He's been solid, dependable, and he's been a true ace.
Slider came a long way, and it misses in.
They also have another left-hander that made the All-Star team in Jose Quintana. From Colombia.
That is strike 3 to Kohler. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig.
Rich, thank you very much. You see Chris Sale out there on the mound, 6'6". He's listed at 180 pounds, and you think, does the guy ever eat? But actually, just to the contrary, they used to say if there were no burgers in, the old clubhouse manager would send out for Whoppers or the Whataburgers in California. How about Adam Dunn on Chris Sale's former teammate? He crushes food, eats more than anybody. He gets so excited when he gains more than 2 pounds. He is a skinny dude trying to be fat as Ichiro drives the ball out into left field. There's a report that on a flight from Chicago to California that he once ate 2 ice cream sundaes and 30 bags of chips on the flight. And everybody marvels at his amazing metabolism. But somehow he manages to keep 180 pounds in that slim figure there, guys.
That happens to me all the time, Craig. Really? I have the same problem.
What, 30 bags of chips on a flight?
Whataburgers, In-N-Outs, the whole thing.
Here is Martin Prado. Prado popped out. Marlins had a great opportunity in the second. An Ozuna double, a Johnson single. But then Sale turned it up a notch, struck out Robert Andino and Jeff Mathis. And Echeverria popped out on the outskirts of the infield in shallow center. That ball is well struck, left field. Back goes Cabrera at the track, and he makes the catch. That is a 9-pitch inning for Chris Sale. Oh, Billy's birthday. All the mascots here today. Punch in the Diamond Club. Now that is where we should call the game. Forget about the Clevelander. Forget about the Budweiser bar. We should just call the game right by the French toast.
You see the sausage and the bacon. Big day, especially on Sundays. You have to have that. You have to absorb anything that you had the night before. Saturday nights, Miami. Clevelanders packed. They allow kids in today.
This is a big family day in the Clevelander.
Sunday fun day.
Well, right now it's the White Sox on top 2-0. In the fourth, Tom Kohler. This is second time through for Frazier, Shuck, and Tim Anderson. An Adam Eaton home run. Jose Abreu RBI single. That's the damage done by the White Sox so far. Prado crossed the diamond in time. Postseason chase pack. Buy 10 games this season. Gives you priority for postseason strips. Packages start at $250. For information, go to marlins.com/postseason pack. There are a lot of ripples felt across the organization with what happened last night. And Stanton and Conley going on the disabled list. Obviously the call up of Andino. Hunter Cervenka is here, though the Marlins are going to need to add a starter. And that date comes up on Tuesday. Johnson is there and he gets to the bag in time. Actually, the Marlins are going to have to add a couple starters and figure out what's going with the rotation. You've got Phelps on Monday, to be announced on Tuesday. The Marlins have moved Jose Fernandez up a day from Friday in Pittsburgh to Thursday in Cincinnati. Andrew Cashner gets Wednesday. So one starter needed on Tuesday. Jose Urena certainly a candidate. Justin Nicolino, guys that have been pitching in AAA and have pitched in the big leagues this year. But obviously it means that for a guy like Tom Kohler, Marlins are hopeful he continues the great work that he's been doing. They need David Phelps to continue what he has started, because everything that Phelps has done as a starter looks really good. They need Andrew Cashner to be effective.
If you look at the balance right now in the bullpen for the Marlins, 3 left-handed pitchers. Haven't had that all season long. You got Cervenka, Dunn, and Arvidsson now available. Play a little bit more matchups against the upcoming teams until there's a move to be made to get that other starter.
Two balls, 2 strikes since that first inning. Kohler has allowed just 1 hit. And a good breaking ball there finishes off Anderson. 9-pitch inning and an answer from Kohler. Oh, hey, wait a minute, Tootie. It's for kids. trip. Marlins headed to the Natty Cincinnati. Rosie will be dancing. Joey Votto will be hitting. And the Marlins and the Reds will meet for 4 games. Clint Hurdle will be working on that gum on the rail. Pirates trying to make that second half run that Eduardo talked about. Wait a minute, that's Raymond. The Rays mascot is here.
Raymond's out of control.
He's out of his league.
Almost got caught right there, the jersey.
He's out of his league, right?
Yeah, he's out of his league, but the Rays right now, they're at Yankee Stadium. Mariano Rivera just got enshrined into Monument Park. So history has been made once again in New York.
Yelich, Ozuna, Johnson against Sale. Yelich bounced to first, back in the first. And that one fouled back. First career start against the Marlins for Sale. Slider misses away. It's 2-2. Watch the windup and the finish. 6-6. Over the middle, backhanded Saladino. That's a really nice play by Tyler Saladino. He's getting a chance to play and making the most of it.
Definitely impressed in this series, going back on baseballs this time, going in and to his right, making an accurate throw, knowing Christian gets down the line well.
Here now is Ozuna. He blasted one to the wall in left center for a double. Chris Johnson would follow with a single, and that's been Miami's best opportunity so far. And Ozuna cracks another one to center field, but this one run down by Shuck at the warning track.
But a great sign, though. Great sign, getting Ozuna to be able to hit a line shot first pitch up in the zone again. More discipline from Marcell.
Toyota, the all-new RAV4, give you an inside look. Since 2012, you got wins, strikeouts, ERA.
Anytime you're in the top 10 in those numbers, you know you're doing something right. Getting ahead of hitters, not afraid to having them go after contact early.
Now, if you did that with American League pitchers, Sale, since 2012, is the leader in strikeouts. He's the leader in WHIP and second in wins and ERA. So there's a lot of National League pitchers on that list. Sale of the American League is at the top of a few of those categories. That one line into the seats. Five consecutive All-Star teams. It's not easy to do for a pitcher. There's only one other in franchise history who has done that, Billy Pierce, and that was back in the 50s. Johnson a liner to center. Well, the Marlins barrel a couple balls up here. And right at J.B. Shuck, 2-0. Sox on top of the Marlins here at Marlins Park on a Sunday. Geico presents this date in Major League history. White Sox hit 4 consecutive homers against the Royals. Thome, Konerko, Alexei Ramirez, Juan Uribe. That's a lot to put them on the boards, right? And that's all in the 6th inning at U.S. Cellular Field. Omar Narvaez, Chris Sale, Adam Eaton for Kohler here in the 5th. Both pitchers have been pretty efficient. Kohler at 54 pitches now. Sale 51. You don't expect the 8th spot to hurt you, especially when you've got a couple catchers who don't have overly impressive numbers. But that's what's happened in this series. Narvaez in the first game walked 3 times and had a hit. And Chavarria, a nice play. And last night, Deoner Navarro was on base 3 times, had 2 hits, and knocked in a run. Sale takes a strike. That American League wild card race is pretty jumbled up. Baltimore 65 wins. Boston 63 wins. Detroit 62 wins. Seattle 61. Houston has 61. White Sox are looking for win number 57 here. Of course, the Yankees are at 60. They're 60 and 56. New York has won 4 straight.
Imagine if they get in with their youth movement going on.
Kohler finishes Sale. And if Tom Kohler obviously could, he'd erase that first inning, because the next 3 2/3 is exactly what the Marlins have seen from Kohler in his last 4 starts.
I mean, give him credit. I remember growing up, my father, Tony Perez, would always tell me, he's like, what separates Nolan Ryan, Hall of Famer, from everyone else is even if he gave up 5 in the first inning, he'd give his team a chance to win. I'm not comparing Tom Kohler to Nolan Ryan, but the situation is right now what's going on. Allowed 2 in the first. He's giving his offense an opportunity to come back.
Eaton trying to pull that fastball, and Dino quickly to first in time to get the out. Tom Kohler rolling right now. 3 up, 3 down for the White Sox. Halfway through, 2-0 Chicago. Chrysler is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Beautiful view of downtown Miami. Come inside Marlins Park. Let's join Craig Minervini.
Rich, in the baseball business, managers and coaches usually don't last too long with the same team. It's just part of the business. But that's not the case with the White Sox. New Yorker, the pitching coach Don Cooper, who has been in the organization now for 27 years, and he's been the pitching coach there for 15 years. Had a little cup of coffee with some teams, including the Yanks and the Twins in the Jays organization for a while. Back in the 80s, he was an outstanding reliever from Queens, New York. But you see, past Dave Righetti, who just came into this ballpark with the Giants, he's the longest tenured pitching coach with one club, 15 seasons. He also has a connection to Juan Nieves. When he was the minor league coordinator, he hired the Marlins pitching coach to work with the White Sox, and later the two even lived together for several years when Nieves was the bullpen coach for the Sox. And he's a character that I met back in the early 80s. He was a closer for the Syracuse Chiefs. I got a chance to do those games, and Coop was a guy they called out of the bullpen, as he was telling me. A lot of 3-inning saves back in those days. Good guy, though. One of the characters of the game, Don Cooper.
All right, thank you, Craig. That's a nice moment right there. Robert Andino with a base hit into center field. His first major league action since 2013. The Miami native. Southridge High School.
That's be a great feeling, right back up the middle. Get your hit. No, his kids, families in attendance. They've been through a lot. Good to see. Good man, good person.
Now Mathis. These were the two hitters that Sale was able to get with runners first and third and nobody out. He struck out Andino, then he punched out Mathis and got Echeverria to pop out. It was Miami's best opportunity. That was back in the second. No other base runners than these base hits. No walks. Sale hasn't hit anybody. We're mentioning Cooper, as Craig talked about what a character he is. How in the offseason he and Sale and spring training, they talked about being efficient. It's a really nice read in Sports Illustrated from a month and a half ago. And Cooper is quoted as saying, it's a characteristic of the top guys. They've got stuff in their tank when they need it, but they're managing the game, handling the game, knowing when to add, knowing when to subtract. I do believe that that is pitching at the very highest level. One, two. That's a foul ball. It's funny because there's Cooper's take on it, and then there's Sale's take. And Sale says, you've got a Ferrari, right? You put the gas pedal to the floor, driving fast. This is great. I'm doing what I always wanted to do. And then you try to hit the brakes, and there are no brakes. And you're going to run into something, crash and burn, and it's going to suck. So why not take a couple of steps down? That's Sale's take on that.
I like how he sees himself as a Ferrari. Very cool.
1-2. Into center field. Mathis follows with a hit. And so the Marlins get singles to open the fifth.
And you look back at the last 6 hitters from the Marlins, they've been able to find barrel. Again, breaking pitch, 2 strikes, Sale leaving it up in the zone. You see how upset he was after seeing contact being made. Pitch where he wants it to be down the back leg of Mathis. Hits it right back up the middle. But you look back at the top of the 4th inning, the last out of the 3rd inning, Martin Prado's fly ball to left field was hit to the warning track in left field. Christian Yelich's play, Saladino made a nice play. Marcell Ozuna and Johnson both hit shots to center field.
So this is the part where the Ferrari goes back to full throttle.
This is where now you have to forget about, you have to press the button in the middle where it says to economize some gas and put it to the metal right now. And this is what Sale does better than anyone else.
Echeverria with a busted bat into right field. That's a hit. Holding third. is Andino. Eaton has that great arm in right, and here are the Marlins with the bags loaded and nobody out. Tom Koehler is the hitter.
Well, pitch down and away. Sacrificial lamb is who? The bat. Died a hero. You see that break right there. Whenever you get a base hit as a player, the bat breaks. Have to enshrine him. Base is loaded. Now you have Tom Koehler on the at the plate. You know, against Chris Sale, odds are he's going to strike him out. Those are the odds. And you hope for that instead of a ground ball right back at the pitcher or at one of the infielders.
Well, the middle infield looking for a double play. Koehler looking for contact. Sale dials up 94. Koehler, though, has a penchant for hitting good pitchers. His numbers career against Matt Harvey are off the charts.
This is Chris Sale. This is a different beast, and the outfield's playing in. You don't see the right fielder because he's shaded more towards the line. I'm surprised J.B. Shuck is just that much to the right field side. I'd actually have him a little bit more in right center.
One. That's a nasty 94 too, with elbows and
movement.
knees.
And it has movement because from the angle that he's throwing, it's not a north to south downhill plane. This one runs away on him, and you can see right there by the reaction and the swing of Tom.
One, two. Koehler. Oh, Sale. It's in the hole. 1 run scores. 2 runs score.
What a call, Rich.
And the Marlins have tied it. And it's Tom Koehler who does it.
You said it. Knack for hitting good pitching. Hitting it right off the shoelaces of Chris Sale. He's upset. That's a big man to be upset right there. Tall, lanky man. And he was able to get a piece of him.
Trainer is coming out. Robin Ventura is coming out. Here's a look. It looked like he kicked his foot up trying to make contact with it.
Trying to get away, one of the two, either which way, it would have gone through. Big hit for, and missed location by Chris Sale causes all of this. Right back up the middle. Tom Koehler helping himself out, driving in two. And now you have Ichiro left on left, a really good bunter. Let's see how Don Mattingly plays this.
4 consecutive hits from the bottom of the order. Andino, Mathis, Echeverria, and Koehler. And so Ichiro lined to center his last time up. Echeverria the runner at second. Kohler's at first. Ichiro squares and takes out.
And Chris Sale has not missed barrel at all in this inning, except for the base hit for Adeiny Echeverria. Everyone else, I'm telling you, the last 7 hitters have had really good at-bats against Chris Sale.
Now Prado's on deck. He hit a bolt to the warning track his last time up. Ichiro's butt, it's a good one. Narvaez wheels and throws and gets him. Runner coming home, nobody there, and Echeverria scores.
Lenny Harris, guys, Lenny Harris. This is all on Coop. Third base coach seeing Narvaez attack the baseball. This is where either Frazier or Chris Sale has to be able to cover home plate. Watch how this happens. Look how far Narvaez goes to get this baseball. No one goes home. You see Chris Sale looking, but watch Lenny Harris on the left of his screen point. No one at home plate. Abreu has nowhere to throw it. Presence of mind of a third base coach. Top of his game right there, Lenny Harris. I credit him for that one.
Kohler's at second. Prado now. Another look. You see Echeverria never hesitated. Never stopped.
Good hustle. Both Lenny Harris and Adenis both on key, on point.
Ichiro not only going to get a sacrifice, but also an RBI out of that.
Well, we talked about the sense of urgency about base running. Earlier we talked about the Chicago White Sox. Now the Marlins are doing that.
Prado takes in, and it's 2-1. Yelich on deck. Prado, of course, as we've noted, the best in the National League against lefties. No 0 for 2 against Sale.
And that right there is on Chris Sale. He had nothing else to do. As soon as he sees Narvaez make that play, he has to then hustle there. He had his back turned to the runner at third. He was looking at the throw and not paying attention to the runner.
And Sale, a 94 running fastball, strikes out Prado. That's a big out to get.
You have someone to point the finger at. Right here, it has to be on the ace. Watch him. He's looking at the runner, then he's looking at first base. He has his back turned to Adeiny. If he would have been hustling home, Adeiny would have had to stop, or Abreu would have been able to throw the ball home and not have a problem getting Echeverria.
Now Yelich. It's Kohler at second. And a sweeping breaking ball misses away. Obviously Sale going to attack Yelich. Ozuna's hit it hard twice. A double to the wall in left center, and then a line drive out to the warning track in center. Back in the fourth. Yelich trying to muscle up there. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Little tapper Abreu's way, and he scoops it and gets to the bag. But the bottom of the order rises up, and it's Tom Kohler with an enormous hit. And Dino, Mathis, Echeverria, then Kohler, and a little bit of Ichiro at the end. What transpired with Echeverria rolling around third on that Ichiro bunt.
And you watch this angle, Lenny's already telling Eche, hey, watch the play, watch the throw. He's letting him know, and as soon as he sees it, come on, let's go, keep going. Give a lot of credit to Adeiny Echeverria for hustling the entire way. You see a lot of guys stop at third before the bag or slide into the bag. He just kept hustling, and it's a combined effort right there. This all starts in spring training, communication all year round. Again, before the play happens, you have to anticipate. Third base coach's job to also let his players know, and the lack of focus and concentration on the White Sox on that side allowed the Marlins to take the lead.
Garbage Time with Katie Nolan. It has been called epic, witty, refreshing, and the future of sports television. Don't miss an all-new episode of the Emmy Award-winning sensation Wednesday at midnight, only on FS1. In Miami, the Marlins smarting from a ball game they should have won last night and didn't, and two significant injuries. Giancarlo Stanton and Adam Conley placed on the disabled list this morning. Then the Marlins fall behind Chris Sale, and you can see the numbers. Tom Koehler gave up those 2 runs in the first, but he's locked it down since. Of course, Koehler in the middle of that 3-run uprising in the bottom of the 5th. This would be a shutdown inning if Koehler can do that with Saladino, Cabrera, and Abreu. Most pitchers go out in a situation like this looking for what they call a shutdown inning after their hitters have provided them a lead. And Koehler is the guy that helped provide that lead, so he's trying to do the shutdown inning for himself and obviously his ball club.
And it's a difficult inning. Why you have 2, 3, 4 coming up from the lineup from the White Sox.
Saladino rips one down the line. Yelich has it. And a single opens the 6th for the White Sox. Now Cabrera, Abreu, and Frazier. 2017 All-Star Game is coming to Marlins Park. You can sign up and get ticketing updates, breaking news, info, all of that. Marlins.com/ASG, home run hitting contest, all the All-Star festivities, Fan Fest, in and around Marlins Park. Miami the hosts in 2017. Now Melky Cabrera.
Where you talk about shutdown innings, very difficult to do, especially when the pitcher, you're involved and you were out on the field for a while. Tom Koehler had to also run the bases, stand around second base. He took his time coming back out.
Changeup golfed, foul. And it's a ball and a strike. The Cardinals playing tonight. That's a Sunday night game. Cardinals and Cubs. Pirates are in Los Angeles this afternoon, take on the Dodgers. Mets lead the Padres 2-0, top 6. Nice play by Johnson to reach over and grab it before it went down the line.
One thing that I've noticed now with instant replay being part of the game makes it hard for umpires to make calls, because now first basemen are taught you don't have to tag the hand. You can tag the midsection now, because the replay will help you. So you're looking at, you see a lot of first basemen go more towards the midsection, the buttocks area, when the guys are diving head first instead of right at the bag. They don't have to turn around so much anymore. It's making it so much more difficult on umpires.
Is it as simple as the quickest route from glove to body?
It is.
Wherever that, wherever you are on the body?
Yes, and you'll see a lot of missed calls, and we're looking at least duplicate and missed calls on just pickoffs from umpires, because you have 2 eyes. You're focused just on the bag area. That's the way you were trained. Now umpires have to play in a different angle. You see where Hunter Wendelstedt is.
To center. Ozuna in, now back, and he makes the catch. Cabrera hit it well, And there's one out, and here is Abreu.
And again, going back to where Hundal Wendelstedt, the first base coach, umpire is, if you see where he's placed, he has to move right when the pitch is being delivered. So he has to shuffle and then has to become that line umpire. So he has a couple duties. He has to check, one, the pick off at first. Two, if the hitter checks his swing or not. And then if he does make contact, he has to decide if the ball's fair or foul down the line. Watch him move as soon as he kicks up.
It's funny, too, because in terms of physical exertion for the umpires, the rotation ramps you up for your home plate. Third base is rather sedentary. There's not a lot of action there. Second base, you're moving around the diamond. And then at first base, you've got lots of bang-bang calls, and that you've just documented the dance that Wendelstedt has to do here. And of course, that all leads up to what umpires call, I have the dish.
You have the dish.
And that is behind home plate.
Behind the home plate. Eventually, I think you want the umpire, because the day after you work and you're squatting there, think about it. Some pitchers will throw 90, but then you have the relievers. They'll come in and they'll throw a total of 130 pitches, 150 pitches in a game. That's just one team. You're looking at 300 squats in an entire game minimum. And then you have to go to third base to at least rest up from that next day. A lot of umpires end up with a lot of back issues.
Well, it's not. I mean, you go out in your front yard and stand for 3.5 hours, do 300 squats, and remember, you don't get a chance to go sit down at all.
No. Why don't you try it at home? Watch a game standing up, and every time the pitch comes, squat.
That's what I'm saying. No, go out on the front lawn where it's hot. I mean, I know Marlins Park has got AC, but most major league ballparks don't. And you know, no stop to go in, get something to drink or something to eat, or sit on the porch. Runner goes, pitches in. Mathis throw. He brushed against the hitter, but there was no call. Trip Gibson put his arms out as if to say no interference. And it's a stolen base for Saladino, his 9th.
Picked the right spot. Threw a curveball. You see Jeff going out in front, getting it. Right when he's going to throw, Jose tries to get out of the way and shows effort to get out of the way. No contact being made.
It was pretty close.
Pretty close. Tripp made the right call. He didn't trip up on that one, did he? Sorry, had to go there.
That's all right. You're allowed one of those a game. It's just like challenges. But I think you've lost yours.
And we were going so.
From the 7th inning on, though, if the umpire would want to bring one back, he can.
Okay, good.
So you're still alive. You have a lifeline from the 7th inning on. Abreu RBI single, and he struck out. Kohler working here 2-1. Frazier's on deck. White Sox down a run. Saladino in scoring position. That almost hit Abreu.
You're down, you're up 1. You're the Marlins. I know that you're supposed to go after this man right now, 3-1. You do not want to put the go-ahead run on base. But you look at the numbers of Frazier hitting under 140 with runners in scoring position. Do not give in here. And he does not.
That's a good pitch by Kohler.
You have to pick your poison.
I liked your illustration at the top of the game. We focus so much on Tom Kohler's fastball command, and that really is important. But as you pointed out, he's had command of both breaking balls as well, and the ability to throw those for strikes early in the count have really helped him.
And the more you see Tom Kohler, the more confidence he gets when he knows he can go to that curveball at any count.
3-2. What will Abreu get? Breaking ball, bouncer. It hit the bag. It's fair. And down the line it goes. And Saladino's going to score. My goodness.
The ball was about to be called foul until he sees it hit the bag.
And it's tied at 3. Watch this.
Scott Berry and watch where the ball hits. right on the corner of the bag. That ball's fair. And Scott Berry was about to call the ball foul when he realizes it hits the bag. See Scott Berry right here, about to raise. Whoa, here we go.
From a good pitch to a bad break.
And it kicked in an angle that Saladino was still standing around third base, around second base, and was still able to score.
Frazier now with a count 1-0.
Oh, so many explicatives comes out of that one.
Second RBI for Abreu. One and one. Twice Frazier has bounced to third. Now it's 2-1. We don't have great speed at second with Abreu.
And with the power that Frazier possesses, and as a dead pull hitter as he is, Christian Yelich playing shallow in left field. Don't have a lot of speed. He attacks the ball really well. Have to be careful, anything hit over his head.
Full count, 3-2. Got a lefty bat and J.B. Shuck on deck. The White Sox have answered with a run on a odd single off the corner of the bag at third. Pitch number 83 for Kohler. Two still. Stolen base so important here by Saladino. Stressful inning for Kohler. And he lost him. So Frazier walks. Here comes Shuck. Nieves started, and it looked like Don Mattingly called him back. Miami's bullpen is up, and now Nieves will come out. And so obviously the Marlins wanted to wait and give their pen a little more time to get ready.
Talked about earlier before the inning started about a shutdown inning. Again, tough when pitchers are on the bases to be able to command their locations. It's not about the velocity, it's about being able to get out in front, being able to hit your spots. Saladino right away gets that base hit. Steals second. And then unfortunately for the Marlins, the ball hits the bag for a double for Jose Abreu.
Kohler hunting for outs now. Shuck has bounced out twice. Oh, 2. In a tight ball game, as it gets to the later innings, the Marlins do have some significant pop from the left side of the plate in Dietrich and Gordon, and they have Real Muto as well. Oh, 2. Breaking ball, Tapper, Kohler going to second, out there. Etch will hold it. Miami gets an out. The White Sox have the go-ahead 90 feet away. 2 down, and here comes Tim Anderson. Anderson has fly to center and struck out.
Be careful. First pitch on Tim Anderson. Young players, runners in scoring position, get a little anxious. Good pitch. 86-mile-per-hour slider on the black.
Anderson, a 7-game streak that he's not extended. 3 hits in the series. Slider again. Kohler kind of caught something with a spike and spun off the mound.
A little off balance.
Breaking ball, and Mathis got popped on the backswing. It's 1-2.
Fortunately, it looks like it just hit the mask, not so much the helmet area.
One and 2. Kohler trying to navigate this 6th. The run is across. Check swing, and he went. Kohler gets a strikeout and keeps the game even. But the White Sox have tied it bottom 6, 3-3. to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, by Subaru of Pembroke Pines, and by Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. On a Sunday in Miami, the White Sox jumped on Tom Koehler for 2 in the first. The Marlins got to Chris Sale for 3 in the 5th. And the White Sox just tied it on that odd single off the corner of the bag on a dribbler up the line, third base. Tom Koehler and Brian Schneider in discussion. Ozuna hits another ball right on the nose for the first out. Now, Tom Koehler, when he came out, normally a manager will have a word or two, but this discussion lasted for a while. Koehler didn't want to hear it. He said, yeah, I'm fine. And there was no indication from Don Mattingly that he was going to lift him. There were no, at least, handshakes and hugs and all of that.
Well, he's at 91 pitches right now, and he's just letting him know, I'm fine. I want to stay in the game the way he feels. This is the thing. The bullpen's still throwing. You have Mike Dunn getting loose. The way Tom Koehler is talking right now, looks like he might be done.
Tim Wallach, Don Mattingly, Chris Johnson, and Chris Sale in that order. Johnson has lined to center and singles. He's had 2 nice at-bats against this lefty.
Yeah, so far Ozuna, the Marlins have to be happy with it. And then Johnson also.
End of the conversation now. Johnson lifts it down the line, Eaton in full flight, and that ball just was foul. So the count now full at 3-2. Robert Andino is on deck. The Marlins' 3-run uprising started at the bottom of the order. Pitch is low, and it was Andino that got it started. He singled, Jeff Mathis singled, Echeverria singled, and then with the bags loaded and nobody out, Tom Koehler hit a BB off the foot of Sale that carried into left field, and the Marlins had 2 runs. It put runners at first and second. Ichiro set down a sacrifice bunt, perfectly placed. It brought the catcher Narvaez away from the plate, and Echeverria never stopped at third, and he scored. So now you got Andino with 1 out, Johnson at first. Andino drives one to right field. Eaton is there, and he makes the catch. That ball was hit well. And here comes Mathis with 2 outs. White Sox pen, unlike the Marlins, really hasn't had much to do other than take a peek or 2 inside the Clevelander and watch this ball game.
Well, when you have the your number one starter, White Sox won't be that quick to go to the bullpen with him. Had a bad 5th inning, yet no one warming up.
Mathis pulls one hard and foul. We documented the numbers that Mathis has posted of late. They're impressive. His production at the plate has shot up. Of the last 10 games that he has started, he has a hit in 9 of those 10. 14 hits overall. Little pop-up, Abreu. He's not going to get there. Counts 0-2. Struck him out. Sale finishes off Mathis. And the Marlins in the 6th. On to the 7th. Marlins bullpen takes over in a 3-3 game. Southwest Airlines giving you a chance to win an all-inclusive stay at Nassau on Labor Day weekend. Pens ready? Just tweet hashtag Southwest Summer Days Sweeps and hashtag sponsored to @FoxSportsFL for your chance to win.
You know what the name of that giraffe is?
Well, it reminds me of Toys R Us, right? I mean,
Nope.
Jeffrey?
Nope. No, it's a girl. That's Wanda. That's Wanda.
From?
Yep, from the Miami Zoo. Right there, Zoo Miami.
Who's Gravitron? Ah, Fort Lauderdale Strikers.
Yeah. His name's Hot Shot, isn't it?
Oh, that's...
Yeah.
I misread the sponsor on the front. Hot Shot is his name. The Rhino we're still working on. That is the Fruit Loops guy on top of his hat, I think.
What, Toucan Sam?
Yes. Mike Dunn takes over. Tom Kohler goes 6. And now it's the bullpen against Chris Sale. Sale is on deck. Narvaez has struck out and bounced out. It's a really interesting game here. You've got the Marlins who are reeling with the injuries to Stanton and Conley, among others. And then smarting from a 1-run loss last night. Which is nothing new to the White Sox. The White Sox have played in a major league most 42 1-run games this year. Now they're 2 under at 20 and 22 in those games. The Marlins, on the other hand, in this rough patch in August, have lost their last 5 1-run games, and they've all been in August. Marlins have dropped 8 of their last 11. And Dunn finishes off Narvaez. And now he'll get Sale.
How about the slider? Right now, Mike Dunn really working well. We saw it a couple days ago. Came in against Justin Morneau, threw 3 sliders, got him out, looked excellent. See how far they fall off from the strike zone, yet enticing the hitter, the left-handed hitter, to go after him and chase.
Strike from Dunn. Ball and a strike and an out in the 7th. Marlins 3 runs came from the bottom of the order. And the 3rd runs for both teams scored in odd fashion. Echeverria scoring from second on a sacrifice bunt by Ichiro. And the White Sox scoring that 3rd run on that little trickler from Abreu that hit the very corner of the bag at 3rd and skipped by Prado.
Inch bag. Game of inches.
One, two. It's out. Keep you updated on scores of teams involved in the Marlins races. One of those, the Mets, the Marlins at 60 and 56. The Mets sit at 58 and 58. And the Mets have 7 no-hit innings from Steven Matz today against the Padres in New York. The game now in the bottom of the 7th. 95 pitches is where Matz sits. Nationals are beating the Braves 3-1. Bottom 5 there up in D.C. Cardinals and Cubs later tonight. 8 o'clock start in the East. Pittsburgh is in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers.
We'll have a little Marlin representation in that game, won't we? St. Louis and Chicago. Marlin man always shows up on Sunday nights. He'll be there.
I was thinking to myself, all right, Chris Coughlin, check.
Lawrence Levy, check.
Count full. Dunn trying to get Sale here before Eaton arrives in the top of the order. Got him. Healthy swing. 2 strikeouts for Dunn. Another lefty with Eaton. 2017 season tickets. You place a deposit, guarantees you access to the All-Star game next year in Miami. Don't miss your chance to secure seats for a once-in-a-generation event. Just $250 for a deposit. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/season tickets. Now Eaton, who homered in the 1st, bunts and he pops it back to the screen. Bryce Harper is back in the Nationals lineup. He's been out for 5 days. Aaron Judge of the Yankees hit another homer.
You guys haven't seen that kid play? Tweet us and tell us who you think he reminds you of. Let us know.
Soft line drive, and Yelich has it.
Guess who's on base again?
Yeah, Adam Eaton really has had a nice series for the White Sox. Saladino is 1 for 3. Marlins have a right-hander ready in the pen. Dunn, of course, also has to keep Eaton from stealing second. White Sox have been successful in the run game in this series. They have stolen bases in all 3 games. Saladino checking with Trip Gibson on that pitch. pitch out. And Eaton going nowhere.
It clearly makes it.
Pop up on the infield. Johnson makes the catch. And Mike Dunn navigates the seventh inning stretch in Miami. 3-3 Fish and White Sox. Night, and we'll have that game for you. 6:30 for Marlins Live in Cincinnati. David Phelps, Brandon Finnegan. 4-gamer with the Reds. Reds on the road in Milwaukee right now and down to the Brewers. But it's David Phelps. Tuesday night is still to be announced. Oh, yeah, it's Billy's birthday, so the 7th inning stretch, all the mascots lined up. For the Marlins, this has been a tough 24 hours. They lost that lead late last night and then lost the game and then lost Giancarlo Stanton and Adam Conley. Stanton out with a groin injury, placed on the 15-day disabled list. Conley has tendonitis in his finger. Robert Andino was in Las Vegas with New Orleans, jumped on a red eye. He and Hunter Cervenka coming to the ball club, and Andino in the starting lineup had a key hit back in the 5th inning. So those are your roster moves. More moves to be made, you would expect, in Cincinnati, with the Marlins needing a starting pitcher on Tuesday night. Meanwhile, Chris Sale into the 7th. He's got the bottom third of the order. Actually, 8-9-1 in the order. Echeverria, the pitcher spot. Miguel Rojas is on deck right now as a pinch hitter, and then Ichiro. The line by Sale. We told you his last 4 starts he's pitched well. An ERA just over 2.
That one bad inning he had in the 5th inning, Marlins were able to get 3 across, but even in the 4th inning, the Marlins were able to hit him well.
Echeverria runs up to bunt. Sale sends it in. Echeverria was part of that group in the 5th that produced 3 runs. His was the 3rd of the singles. Andino, Mathis, and then Echeverria, then Kohler, a 2-run single off the foot of Sale. It's 2-0.
Steven Matz had a no-hitter until the top of the 8th inning. It was just broken up by the San Diego Padres.
Well, you heard Echeverria and you saw that pitch. Etch pulls that one foul. That 3rd pitch was just in, but it was a call to strike. It certainly changed the at-bat. It's now 2-2.
It changes the at-bat completely. You know that you have an opportunity to get Chris Sale with a runner on base to start off an inning. 3-0 count, now 2-2. He's been going to that curveball a lot. There it is.
It's out. Full count, 3-2. Edge in protect mode on a fastball.
Yeah, you're at home wondering why would he swing at that? That's ball 4. So you got some velo coming at you, 94 miles per hour, then pitches out away, but you're already opening up your zone even more, especially a free swinger like Adeiny. Yeah.
Another foul ball and another 3-2 pitch coming. Sale at 95 pitches. Breaking ball, ground ball. Frazier dives on his feet, cross the diamond, bang, bang, and safe is the call.
That's one the White Sox might review. Watch again the pick in the stretch.
Wow, it's
from that
close.
angle, it's tough.
Now the initial call is huge here, and the initial call is safe.
Not in the glove yet. Tough one.
That's a real tough one. And if you're the White Sox, it's back of glove, remember.
You have to challenge it if you're the White Sox.
I think you do. And they are going to. So as you piece it together, it's back of glove. That's where the ball is secured once it hits the back of the glove. Now reconstructing it, is Echeverria's foot off the bag when it hits back of the glove, or is it on the bag?
Well, because of the webbing, don't go just by the color when you see the ball there. It's still not in. There is when it's in, but the foot looks like it's on also the cleat. This is a good one and a difficult one, and this might take the umpires a while because there's a new system that was put in place this year called the Cube, where it takes a little bit longer to get the slow-mo to process to be able to get the right call in order to overturn it.
You know, here's the funny thing. People yell and scream about umpires, and it's a tradition as long as baseball has been around.
How about this? Quick one.
Safe. Wow. My guess is the call will stand.
Yep.
But I mean, look, we looked at it, what, 4 or 5 times, and we couldn't tell.
No.
And an umpire gets to make that call in real time.
How awesome is that?
With one look.
One look and the sound also. Then you have to go by the short hop, the sound of the bag. Let's listen.
So now here's Rojas, and he squares, and Sale maybe to check and see if Rojas is sincere about it. Goes over to first. Mitch Penny presents Rojas. Second hit for Echeverria. Ichiro and Prado after Rojas. Rojas bunts. Nicely done there. Narvaez on to first. So the Marlins have a runner sitting at second base. And here's Ichiro, who's had an adventurous day at the plate, centering on that 5th inning in which he laid down a sacrifice bunt. And Echeverria, who was at second base at the time, scored all the way from second when Narvaez came out from the plate to field it, and Sale didn't cover home. Sale starts him with a strike. Some numbers to consider for Ichiro: close and late, 50 plate appearances. Look who's leading the National League. This is close. This is late.
Winner, winner.
Of course, not many of those at bats are against Chris Sale.
I don't think it really matters to Ichiro, though.
It's just down low. Well, remember, hitting 3,000 came against a lefty. And he's had better numbers this year against lefties than righties. And he holds up there. And of course, you got a guy that has really done damage to left-handers on deck, and that's Prado, though he's 0 for 3 against Sale. There are the splits this year, and in his career he's better against lefties than righties. Oh, it's a strike. Ichiro didn't like it, and that's why. Two.
Ouch, that hit him.
Did it hit him?
That hit him.
That hit him.
That hit him.
No swing, and that's a hit by pitch.
Yep.
If he swings at the ball, it doesn't matter if it hit him, it's a strike. But if he holds up and it hit him, it's a hit pitch, obviously, and he's trotting down to first. Robin Ventura comes down.
Love what Trip Gibson did here, the home plate umpire. He hears it, he knows it hit him, but he doesn't know if it hit. He doesn't know if he swung or not. So Ichiro lets him know that it hit him, and then instead of making the call immediately to go to first base, he asked for help at third. Let's listen.
Well, you hear the double click. There's the check, and he gets first.
That's a great call and great action right there. No hesitation whatsoever from Trip Gibson behind the plate. None whatsoever. Scott Berry making the call and checking if he did or not. Robin Ventura now has the opportunity to see if on video it did hit Ichiro or not. And that's what he's waiting on right now.
Well, this has to be an umpire discretion, though, because the White Sox lost their challenge, right?
Well, we're already in the 7th inning. You're right.
So that it's umpire discretion. I mean, the White Sox are looking at it so that they can go out and argue, sort of like an attorney, to say, hey.
Now the umpires are going to discuss to see if they should contest it or not, but the sound is not going to lie. Now the question is, did it hit the bat or did it hit Ichiro?
And look, and the initial call is huge again in this, because there's got to be video proof that it didn't hit. If you can't tell, then the call stands.
Well, you can't tell from there, and I'm telling you, if there's no swing, and you see the reaction from Ichiro, and Ichiro has been all about honor his entire career, his entire life. I am telling you right now, this ball hit him.
I don't know that any of the looks on video are clear enough to overturn.
Oh, you can't.
And they're not going to. That's going to stand. Ichiro will stay at first base.
And Robert Ventura has to be appreciative of this because the umpires could not tell either, so they decided to grant him
the review. And so now Miami's got runners first and second and one out. Don Cooper is out there talking to Chris Sale. And you've got Martin Prado coming up. White Sox bullpen has been active. It is a crew chief review, and it is call stands. Prado is the best against lefties in the National League. Jacob Turner, a former Marlin, is ready in the White Sox pen. But this is no ordinary lefty. This is Chris Sale. And Prado's 0 for 3. He's popped out, struck out, and lined out. With Yelich on deck. Of course, the White Sox are hoping for a ground ball here, something that Prado has been prone to this year, and that's bouncing into double plays. Fouls that pitch back. Prado is the National League leader with 18 double play grounders off his bat.
And ever since Martin Prado got hit on that toe, the foul ball that had to come out of the game, even though he bounced back the next day, has not been backlegging balls more than usual, pulling baseballs instead of going the other way.
Sale's throw almost got into center. Saladino just got a piece of it. And then it bounced off of Etch's helmet. Still 0-1 to Prado. Sale misses away. Well, he's across the 100 pitch threshold. The next one will be 105.
Well, their goal is to try to get him to Christian Yelich on deck, just in case he doesn't get the double play here.
Two and one. Miami in a bit of shock. Losing the lead, losing the game last night, and then losing Giancarlo Stanton and Adam Conley to the disabled list.
Infield straight up, outfield straight up. Actually playing a little bit to pull against Martin Prado. You don't see that often.
Prado drives it right center field. Eaton after it, he won't get it. It's in the gap. Echeverria around third. Coming home. Relay gets away, and Ichiro arrives at third base. Prado delivers. And Miami has the lead back.
First team, first time all season I ever see the outfield play Martin Prado to pull in center field. Usually they play drastic to right center field. Breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Martin beautifully goes the other way with it, displacing the back leg, clearing the hips, driving it in. Martin Prado has been the most consistent Marlin player all season long, doing it again here in the bottom of the 7th inning against Chris Sale.
Now Yelich, a fastball for a strike. Ichiro's at third, Prado's at first. There's one out. Yelich has bounced out 3 times to the right side, which is open right now as Abreu is holding Prado. 0-2.
Well, he has to stay to his approach, true to his approach, which is the other way. Anything soft in, then he can pull.
0-2.
Good take.
Albert Claude, Miami's pen.
Big opportunity right now to add on another run.
And he got him. Sale strikes out Yelich. And I'm not sure that he'll face Ozuna. And here comes Robin Ventura to confirm that. So Yelich is struck out. And it's going to be Ozuna against Jacob Turner. And a West Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. 4-3 Miami in the 7th. On top of the White Sox. Chris Sale is gone. Jacob Turner is in. That ERA inflated because of 2 starts that really didn't go well at all for Turner. He's been in the White Sox bullpen. Marlins have seen him in this series. In 6 relief outings, his ERA is 3.86.
This is where Ichiro has to be aware. Turner does bounce a lot of curveballs in the dirt. Anything gets away from Narvaez, if he's aggressive down the line, he could have a play and extend the lead.
Marcell Ozuna on the day. A blast of a double up the alley in left center. A line drive out that ended up on the warning track in center field. And then he lined out to third. Ozuna, ground ball up the middle to his left. Anderson spinning, throwing, safe at first. Ichiro scores. Cross the diamond. Prado is out. And the Marlins add another to the 8th. It's 5-3 Fish. middle. It'll be scored a hit, and he gets an RBI as well. The throw by Anderson in the dirt. Abreu. Oh, he's out if he picks it.
He is, but still with that 360 turnaround that he tried an attempt to do, not give him an error in this situation. Tough play, the level of difficulty. Martin trying to go to third. I like it. Either which way, you're putting the pressure on. You never know. Frazier was running backpedaling and running back to third, forcing Abreu to make a perfect throw to third. What happens when you have the lead, you can be more aggressive on the bases.
So it's Kyle Bearclaw in the ball game, and he's back up on the horse after a rough ride last night. And Miguel Rojas, who, remember, in that inning had a sacrifice bunt, stays in. That means the pitcher is now in Andino's old spot, which is the 6th spot in the order. And Bearclaw's ERA has crept over 3. He gets Melky Cabrera, Abreu, and Todd Frazier. So not a soft landing for Bearclaw here in the 8th.
It's not the good news right now. Starting off with a fastball, being able to throw it for a strike. Yesterday struggled with his command with his fastball, had a 2-run lead, could not hold it. The inability of not being able to get the #1 over the plate.
Off his glove, Rojas bare hands, whips it and gets it. Well, when you come in and stay in for your defense, it's always nice to start it off like that.
Feels good for Don Mattingly, changing up, taking Robert Andino out of the game because of the stellar defensive ability that Miguel Rojas has. Scored this one 1-4-3. One solid out.
Hot smash off the bat of Abreu. Johnson has it, and Bearclaw has 2 quick outs.
2 quick outs, and that opportunity to face Abreu with nobody on takes a lot of pressure off anybody on the mound. Getting 2 outs immediately, and now you have Frazier to deal with.
And nice to face him without anybody on. Frazier with 31 home runs, 2nd in all of baseball. But maybe not for long if Mookie Betts keeps doing what he's doing. Was he at 3 more today?
3 more. First player this season with 3 home runs twice in a game. First, he did it in Baltimore earlier this season.
Betts now has 26. The first 2 of those homers came off of Zach Greinke.
Pretty good. They scored a lot of runs today. 16-1. And they're only in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Betts has driven in 8.
He's going to get 2 more at-bats, maybe.
He's 4 for 4.
He's driven in 8?
He's driven in 8.
Sick.
A 3-runner, a 2-run.
A solo. Don't tell me. Is he going for the cycle when it comes to RBIs? Is that what you're telling me?
No, 2 3-runs.
Oh, boring.
And a 2-run.
Oh, boring. That's not impressive, then.
1 and 2 to Frazier. And Bearclaw misses out.
Try to be too perfect with that fastball. No need to go 3-2. And there was, I used to have a coach, and real quick, I know there's 2 outs, 3-2. Used to have a coach before I got to college in summer ball, Cincinnati Kenwood Silverton team, that he would always yell. Once he always had two balls, he would yell, he doesn't want to go 3, he doesn't want to go 3. I had no idea what he meant until like 4 games down the line. He doesn't want to go to 3 balls. and no strikes for 2 strikes.
Busted bat. Yelich charging in, has got it, and Bear Claw a 1-2-3-8. Marlins up 2, bottom 8.
Well, you wouldn't know the Marlins have had a rough homestand based on all the noise in here. It is the Marlins Adopt-A-Mania. And so far, almost 100 little cuties like this guy have been adopted. Many of the vaccinations, the licensing, all covered for Miami-Dade residents. This guy, Bear, is looking for a home. Come on out even till after the game. They'll be here waiting for you to adopt a pet. Over the years now, the 5th annual year, over 600 pets have been adopted at Marlins games. Guys?
That is really cool.
That is. Thank you, Craig.
I'm going to go over there after the game. Might leave a little surprise for my wife before heading out on the road. Here you go, hon.
Puppy.
I don't know how she'll act to that. Well, actually, I do.
Chris Johnson is up, and he rips one to left. Wow. Boy, and Cabrera lost the ball in the lights, but makes the catch. Johnson has really swung the bat well. He's hit it hard 3 times and walked. So he's been locked in today.
Say what you want. That right there is a sexy swing line drive.
Woo!
Feel helpless as a left fielder. Just trying to stay with it. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Keep the ball above the lights.
Derek Dietrich now will get the pitch hitting at bat. And last we saw Dietrich, he was hit in the leg last night and became the all-time hit by pitch leader in Marlins history. Also tripled last night and walked. His at-bats are starting to get a little better.
His pitch selection's getting better. Not chasing out of the zone when he was struggling. That pitch right there, he would have swung and he would have been out of it in 1 pitch. Wondering why not D. Gordon, as we see Fernando Rodney warming up in the pen for the save. D was on deck, and if Chris Johnson would have been on, he would have then bunted him over. But now that there's no one on base, Don Mattingly has decided to go with Derek Dietrich, looking for a little pop.
Jacob Turner finished the 7th for Chris Sale. He misses out to Dietrich. Turner, of course, a first-round pick of the Tigers. Marlins acquired him in the Anibal Sanchez, Omar Infante trade. spent time in the minor leagues trying to get it together. And the White Sox, his 2 starts were not good, but in the bullpen he's starting to find his way a bit. He's always had that easy mid-90s velocity. Maybe with similar to David Phelps, who had a great run for the Marlins in their pen. Maybe Turner trying to do exactly that. Steven Matz did lose that no-hitter in the 8th. The Mets in the bottom of the 8th have a 5-0 lead over the Padres. Marlins will keep an eye on the Cardinals Cubs later tonight, as well as Pirates Dodgers this afternoon. This job by Dietrich, and I think maybe the best example of why the at-bats are getting better. Dietrich's starting to walk again.
What it's supposed to do, and you're not expecting him to be stealing. He's still hobbling a bit after that hit by pitch yesterday, running towards first. But always, it just seems to happen every time you have a sore leg or something. Here comes the next guy up when you're at first base, or hit a gapper.
Mathis 1 for 3. Busted bat to third. Frazier starts it. Saladino finishes it. And the Marlins are done in the 8th, and now Fernando Rodney has a 2-run lead to protect. The Marlins trying to win this ball game. By Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. By your South Florida Honda dealers. 5-3, Marlins on top. 9th inning rolls around. I said at the outset of the telecast, this is a crucial ball game. And I stand by it. And I also stand by this. Coors Light cold hard fact. On Sundays, the Marlins are 11-7. The Dodgers are the best at 13-5. The Dodgers, I think because Vin Scully has announced a lot of those Sunday games. So there you have it. Coors Light cold hard facts. The importance of winning this ball game, Eduardo Perez, both in the standings and in the Marlins psyche.
I think it's crucial. You're going into a road trip now for a week where you want to be able to have that. And not only that, you're saving a series when you're facing a #1 pitcher, an elite pitcher like Chris Sale. Especially with the injury to Giancarlo Stanton. You're going into Cincinnati, a team that has struggled, even though they scored a lot of runs now in the second half of the season, going young. Still, it's a team that you can go in and at least split to win a series there, so it's important. Psychologically very important.
J.B. Shuck, Tim Anderson, and then Omar Narvaez are the scheduled hitters for the White Sox. It's a Tom Koehler start, and you got to think back to early in the ball game when Koehler got rocked in the first with 2 runs, the homer by Eaton, Cabrera's double, Shuck to right, Ichiro is there, and now Koehler was able to keep it together. That odd run that scored in the 6th on the ball that hit the corner of the base, that dribbler. But if Tom Koehler doesn't get it together, the game unravels, and it did not. Mike Dunn, Kyle Bearclaw, and now Fernando Rodney has been the relay team out of the pen. And 2. For whatever reason, the 9th inning role suits Fernando Rodney much better than the 8th inning role. Whether it's adrenaline or focus.
Check, check, both of them.
Count goes full to 3-2.
Well, if this was a 1-run ball game, you go to his changeup right here. 3-2 count. It's the ability of thinking, which one do I throw for a strike often? If he can throw that changeup for a strike, he goes with it. If not, stick with the heater. Don't want that tying run on.
Driven to left and deep and gone into the White Sox bullpen. There's your heater. And Anderson blasts home run number 6.
And that's fine. There's no problem. You still don't have any runners on. You give up the home run, but you do not give up the walk. You have him earn it. Fernando Rodney understands that. 3-2, he has to go with the fastball. Yes, he misses location in instead of away. Ball's gone. Now you focused on the next hitter, Narvaez. This is where he'll now start pitching a little bit more, using that changeup. It's essential he gets out early in the count.
Narvaez lifts it to left field, and that's a hit. And Yelich picks it up. Boy, nothing coming easy for Miami right now. Justin Morneau is going to get the at-bat now for the White Sox. We talked about the 1-run games and all of the 1-runners that the White Sox have been in. The pinch runner at first base as well for Narvaez.
Carlos Sanchez.
Morneau fouls that one back. Morneau an RBI double in a pinch hitting role in the comeback win last night. The White Sox have played in a major league most 42 1-run games. They are 20-22 in those 1-run games. Here they are again. As we pointed out, part of Miami's woes in August. 5 consecutive 1-run losses, including last night. Ichiro trying to hang on to what's been a really nice career. Puts that one into the seats.
You're thinking slow back, think again. 96 miles per hour. Morneau probably on that 1-1 thinking changeup. Now he changes it all up, thinks fastball, and he will adjust to the change. Smart hitter at the plate.
Sanchez, the runner at first. 1-2. Got him! Rodney, 95.
Where you're looking fastball, the only thing, Rodney this time executes the fastball out of the strike zone and gets Justin Morneau to chase. Now you have to deal with the biggest headache for the Marlins this entire series.
One of the smallest White Sox has been one of the biggest headaches. Adam Eaton, and Eaton rips one into right field. That's a hit. Ichiro has it, runner holds it second, throw behind, and it scoots all the way through. Sanchez remembered that that's Ichiro and right.
Sanchez was thinking 3 the whole way, but Joe McEwing knows who Ichiro Suzuki is in right field and knows that if there's one outfielder that works on making throws on a daily basis, it's that man. Watch Carlos Sanchez right here. He's thinking 3 all the way, and then he picks up Joe McEwing. Nope, let me get back.
Marlins Live post game coming up, brought to you by Checkers. Inside the Marlins after that. Adam Eaton has had a terrific series. The diminutive outfielder now has 7 hits, including the home run. He's walked 3 times, and his base hit has put the tying run in scoring position against Fernando Rodney. And Eaton, of course, an important run as well. That's the go-ahead at first base with 2 down, and it's Tyler Saladino. And he pulls it foul.
It's an important pitch. 96 inside, speeds up the bat of Saladino. Exactly what Rodney wants. Rodney with a fantastic changeup. Might be using it now.
Here's the 0-1. He misses with it. Fastball, 96.
Went back in, making him think inside.
Line drive, base hit, left field. Charging is Yelich. Sanchez comes home. Yelich is thrown to the plate. He is out. He's out. Mathis holds it. Ball game. Miami wins it. For the final. Robin Ventura is on the field. He and Trip Gibson are conversing. Jerry Lane, the crew chief, is going to get on the headsets. The White Sox don't have a challenge. And here's a look. Watch Mathis. Does the throw take him in front of the plate? It does.
It does.
It does.
This one will not and should not be overturned, and it's not.
And he's out.
Fuego. Guys, the throw from Ichiro to third base, the reputation of having that strong arm is what kept this play in order. Great charge right there by Yelich. Strike to Mathis, staying in there, and the runner can run the catcher over once he receives the baseball and gets in the way. Right there, the throw takes him in. Sanchez committed to the slide. Great job by Mathis. What a save, and what a game to go on a road trip, a 7-game road trip. The Marlins, this will definitely help.
Christian Yelich with a throw. The word from New York, not a violation of blocking the plate. Mathis, the ball took him into the line. It's good old-fashioned collision and a fun way to end the day for the Marlins. And Fernando Rodney can thank his corner outfielders, Ichiro and Yelich, for that. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, Rich, we got a couple of guests here. Adeiny Hechavarria had a big game. We'll get to him in 1 second. Christian Yelich with that big throw. You've made a lot of good throws. Where does that one rank for you?
That was pretty cool. That's the first time I've ever ended a game like that. And, that was a big win for us. We needed it. Tommy went out and pitched really well. And our guys fought against one of the best pitchers in baseball today.
So did you feel like you had a good shot coming off? You looked like you handled it well. You were coming, throwing. And I thought it was the best throw you've ever made.
I mean, it was just one of those where you're kind of up a little bit just in case there is a play like that. You have a shot at him at the plate. And, it's one of those things where Jeff, made a great tag. And like I said, it's a big win for us.
It's a little nerve-wracking to have to wait for the umps to look at.
I mean, I didn't know what they were reviewing. I guess they were seeing if he blocked the plate or not. I'm glad we came out on top.
You mentioned it was a monster win, especially with Stanton going down with Conley. Yeah. A little bit of a downer for everybody today. Big win to go on the road trip.
Yeah, we've been grinding a little bit, but it happens to all the teams, and you just got to bounce back from it. No one's going to feel sorry for us, and we just got to keep holding it down, so those guys get back.
We'll let you run in. Thank you, Yelly. Christian Yelich. Let's get over to Adeiny Hechavarria. John Eric Alvarez is with us. Etch had one of the biggest plays of the game when you ran home on that play. What did you see? Was it you? Did Lenny Harris help you?
No, ahí yo miré cuando Ichiro tocó la bola, vi que el pitcher se quedó atrás y el catcher fue a coger la bola, se quedó en home plate solo y de una vez cogí la iniciativa y me fui.
No, I saw when Ichiro laid down the bunt, I saw that the pitcher stayed back and the catcher went for it. So as I was rounding third, I just had my eye on the catcher and took advantage of it.
Could be a dangerous play if something changes there. I mean, it's a great play, though. Is that something you're looking for, or you just sort of see it as it happens?
No, yo no busqué por eso ni nada. Simplemente tuve los ojos abiertos de cualquier espacio, cualquier oportunidad que me dieran, tratar de aprovecharla, y eso fue lo que pasó.
No, I mean, I wasn't looking for it, thinking of it. I was just kind of, as I was running the bases, I kind of was looking for any opportunity to advance home. And I saw it and I took it.
Yeah, you certainly did. How big was this win for you, for your ball club, Adeiny, after the news today with Conley and Stanton, and you go on a road trip here, and this could have been a real bad homestand? Instead, you feel a little better about things.
Sí, voy a hablar sobre la importancia de este juego.
Sí, bueno, esta importancia, de verdad que hemos perdido 2 juegos contra ellos y en verdad que teníamos que ganarlo sí o sí, porque nosotros estamos pegados con el otro equipo y en verdad que necesitábamos ganarlo. So, ahora el tanto no está aquí, pero no importa, nosotros vamos a seguir luchando.
No, I mean, we dropped the first 2 games against these guys, so we had to find a way to win this game. And, I mean, we had the injury with Stan, so a lot of us got to make up for the lack that we're missing with him.
All right, good game for you, Adeiny. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, John, thank you. All right, that's it, guys. 2 of the principals in this game today as the Marlins pulled out. Back to you.
No visit from the monkey. How about that? The Marlins win this ball game 5-4. We said crucial at the beginning of the show, and sure feels that way at the end of the show as well, especially the way it ended. Yelich to Mathis, collision at the plate. He holds on, and the Marlins get that elusive 61st win. They salvage a game in this 3-game set with the White Sox. Now it's on the road to Cincinnati and to Pittsburgh. Marlins win it 5-4. Marlins Live postgame is coming up.